The message traveled across space for 3 days before reaching Nexus Station. Admiral Kexthan of the Zentari Empire read it twice before calling his aide. The humans were finally responding to the invitation sent over 100 years ago. He expected a fleet of ships carrying diplomats and military officers. Instead, the message spoke of one vessel called the Hughes Phoenix, carrying 47 crew members. Kexthan looked at the holographic display showing ship registrations from across the galaxy. Hundreds of vessels moved through Nexus Station daily. Trade ships from the merchant guilds carried goods between star systems. Military escorts from various empires protected their interests. Diplomatic vessels brought representatives to endless negotiations. One human ship seemed almost insulting. The Vorthic Collective had different thoughts about humanity's response. Their representative Hisara studied the energy readings from long-range sensors as the Phoenix approached. The ship measured roughly 300 meters in length with basic fusion drives. Its hull showed standard metal construction with minimal external weapons. To Vorthic calculations, this represented either primitive technology or deliberate deception. Deep in the ancient quarters of Nexus Station, the ethereal sovereignty remained silent. Their representatives had lived for thousands of years and remembered when other species first joined the galactic community. Most came with massive fleets to show their strength. Some brought advanced technology to prove their worth. A few arrived with nothing and begged for protection. Humanity seemed to fit none of these patterns. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, watching the massive space station grow larger on their main screen. Nexus Station stretched for dozens of kilometers in all directions. Docking. Bays could hold ships 10 times larger than the Phoenix. Energy shields protected the station from debris and weapons fire. Thousands of different alien species lived and worked inside its metal walls. Grant checked her tactical displays one more time. Her sensors showed over 200 armed vessels within scanning range. Centauri heavy cruisers floated near. The military docking bays. Vorthic destroyers hung motionless in perfect formation. Ships from dozens of other species waited in assigned positions. The Phoenix looked small and helpless among such powerful vessels. Pete Davis monitored the engine. Readings from his engineering station. The fusion reactors ran at normal levels. Power distribution remained stable across all systems. Everything appeared routine to any alien sensors watching their approach. He smiled knowing how wrong those sensors were about what they detected. Communication system activated with an incoming transmission. Amy Collins accepted the signal and put it on the main screen. A tall alien with gray skin and 4 arms appeared before them. Its voice came through the universal translator with mechanical precision. Human vessel Phoenix, you are cleared for docking bay 77. Prepare for customs inspection and diplomatic processing. Welcome to Nexus Station. Morrison nodded to Collins, who opened a return channel. Thank you for the welcome. We look forward to meeting with the Galactic Council representatives. The alien paused before responding. Most species sent advance teams to handle diplomatic protocols. Others requested special accommodations for their unique biology. Humans seemed content with standard procedures. Estimated docking time is 43 minutes. Station security will escort your delegation to the council chambers. The transmission ended, and Morrison turned to his crew. Dr. Karenwright worked at her science station, scanning the energy patterns around Nexus Station. Tony Martinez listened to communication traffic between the various alien ships. Both officers gathered information that would prove useful in the coming hours. Wright's instruments detected gravitational manipulation systems throughout the station. The artificial gravity felt comfortable to human standards, but could be adjusted for species with different requirements. She also noticed defensive systems hidden within the station's structure. Energy weapons and missile launchers waited behind. Concealed panels. Nexus Station could defend itself against most threats. Martinez picked up encrypted transmissions between the major powers. The Zentari discussed military patrol schedules around human space. The Vorthic calculated resource extraction possibilities from Earth's solar system. Other species debated the value of adding humanity to existing trade agreements. None of them considered humans a serious threat to the current balance of power. The Phoenix moved slowly toward its assigned docking bay. Other ships gave them plenty of space, but Morrison noticed the careful positioning. Centauri vessels blocked the most direct route back to human space. Vorthic ships surrounded the diplomatic areas. If something went wrong, the Phoenix would find escape very difficult. Collins received another transmission as they approached the docking bay. This time, a different alien appeared on screen. Its blue skin and 6 eyes marked it as a Vorthic representative. Captain Morrison, we have prepared quarters for your delegation. The formal welcome ceremony will begin in 6 hours. Please limit your armed escort to no more than 4 individuals. Morrison smiled at the suggestion. The Galactic Council expected humans to follow standard diplomatic protocols. Most species brought guards to protect their representatives during negotiations. The assumption that humans needed such protection showed how little the galaxy understood about their visitors. We appreciate your consideration, but our diplomatic team will attend without armed escort, Morrison replied. We trust in the security. Arrangements of Nexus Station. The Vorthic representative seemed confused by this response. Species that arrived with minimal military support usually requested maximum protection. Those confident enough to refuse guards typically brought overwhelming force. Humanity appeared to fit neither category. Docking procedures began as the Phoenix settled into its assigned bay. Mechanical arms extended from the station to secure the ship. Atmospheric processors equalized pressure and air composition between the 2 vessels. Energy conduits provided power for basic ship operations during their stay. Wright continued her scans while the docking process completed. Her instruments detected surveillance devices throughout the docking bay. The aliens wanted to monitor everything about the human ship and its crew. She also noticed that their assigned bay was isolated from other diplomatic vessels. If the aliens wanted to contain the Phoenix, they had chosen the perfect location. Martinez intercepted more communications as various species prepared for the human arrival. The merchant guilds discussed potential trade opportunities with Earth. Military commanders debated the defensive capabilities of a single human vessel. Diplomatic teams prepared standard junior member treaties that would limit human expansion and independence. The airlock seals engaged with a soft hiss as station. Atmosphere mixed with ship air. Security scanners activated automatically to check for dangerous materials or weapons. The readings showed standard diplomatic equipment and personal effects. Hidden deeper in the ship's structure lay systems that no alien scanner could detect or understand. Morrison gathered his diplomatic team as they prepared to leave the Phoenix. Collins carried translation devices and cultural briefing materials. Wright brought scientific instruments approved for diplomatic missions. Martinez monitored communication channels for any sudden changes in alien behavior. The captain looked at his crew one final time before opening the airlock. Each officer knew their role in the mission ahead. They understood what the galaxy expected from humanity and what surprises waited for those expectations. The Phoenix might appear to be just another small diplomatic vessel, but its arrival would change everything about galactic politics. Station security met them at the airlock with professional courtesy. The guards carried energy weapons, but kept them in non-threatening positions. Their job was to escort the human delegation to the council chambers while gathering information about Earth's military capabilities and political structure. As they walked through the corridors of Nexus Station, Morrison observed the mixing of dozens of alien species. Some were clearly predators with sharp teeth and claws. Others appeared more peaceful with plant-like features or crystalline structures. All of them watched the human delegation with curiosity and barely hidden contempt. The galaxy wondered why. Humanity had sent only one ship to announce their arrival. Soon they would understand that one ship was all they needed to deliver their message. The council chambers stretched across 3 levels, with seating for representatives from 40 different species. Captain Morrison and his team entered through massive doors that sealed automatically behind them. Amy Collins walked beside him, carrying diplomatic credentials, while Dr. Wright and Tony Martinez followed close behind. The air felt thick with tension and barely concealed arrogance. Admiral Kexton stood near the Zentari delegation, wearing full military dress uniform. His forearms displayed medals from dozens of conquered worlds. Behind him sat 3 other Zentari officers, whose scars told stories of countless battles. Their weapons remained visible as a reminder of their empire's military strength. Collective occupied the opposite side of the chamber with mathematical precision. Hishara led their delegation with cold calculation visible in her 6 eyes. Her blue skin seemed to shimmer as internal computers processed thousands of variables about the human visitors. The Vorthik had built their empire on superior technology. And logical thinking Dot, in the highest tier of seeking the ethereal sovereignty, remained mostly hidden behind energy barriers. Their representatives appeared as glowing forms that had transcended physical bodies centuries ago. They spoke rarely, but their words carried the weight of ancient wisdom and unimaginable power. Smaller delegations filled the remaining seats, representing dozens of other species. The merchant guilds watched with interest, hoping for new trade opportunities. The free colonies sought potential allies against the larger empires. Military organizations calculated threat levels and strategic advantages. Morrison took his assigned seat at the center table reserved for new applicants. Positioning was deliberate, with his back to most of the assembly. Collins sat to his right, while Wright and Martinez flanked them on either side. 4 humans facing representatives from across the galaxy. Kex then began the ceremony with traditional Zentari greetings. His voice boomed across the chamber as he spoke of strength and conquest. The Zentari Empire welcomes humanity to this gathering. We hope your species will find wisdom in accepting the guidance of those who have ruled the stars for generations. The Admiral activated a holographic display showing Zentari fleet movements across their territory. Thousands of warships patrolled star systems containing billions of subjects. Their military might had never been seriously challenged by any single species. The message was clear and simple. Hishara responded with Vorthik efficiency. The Collective has prepared detailed analysis of human capabilities based on available data. Your single vessel suggests limited industrial capacity and minimal military preparedness. We offer technological assistance in exchange for resource extraction rights. The Vorthik display showed complex mathematical models predicting human development. Over the next century, their calculations assumed steady progress under alien guidance, with Earth serving as a raw material supplier. The projections treated humanity as another client species. Morrison listened without expression as more representatives spoke. The merchant guilds offered trade agreements that heavily favored established species. The mining consortium wanted exclusive rights to asteroid belts in human space. Every offer came with conditions that would limit Earth's independence and growth. Wright activated her scanning equipment discreetly while the presentations continued. Her instruments detected energy patterns throughout the chamber that revealed hidden weapon systems. The council chambers could become a death trap if negotiations went wrong. She also noticed that human signals were being monitored and recorded by multiple alien intelligence services. Martinez used his communication gear to intercept transmissions between the various delegations. The aliens were already dividing up human territory in private messages. The Centauri wanted strategic military bases near Earth. The Vorthic planned research facilities to study human biology and psychology. None of them considered the possibility that humans might refuse their generous offers. Collins took notes on the various proposals while translating the cultural meanings behind each presentation. The aliens were not negotiating with equals, but rather explaining terms to subordinates. Their body language showed dominance and expectation of immediate compliance. An ethereal representative finally spoke from the upper tier. Its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once without clear source or direction. Young species often struggle with the complexity of galactic civilization. We have guided many races through this transition over millennia of experience. The ancient being activated a display showing dozens of species that had joined the galactic community under ethereal guidance. Most had accepted junior member status for centuries before gaining limited independence. A few had been completely absorbed into larger empires after failed rebellions. Morrison stood slowly as the presentations concluded. The chamber fell silent as all attention focused on the human captain. Collins prepared to translate his words into the major galactic languages, while Wright and Martinez monitored alien reactions. "We appreciate the welcome and the generous offers," Morrison began. "However, we need time to consult with Earth Command before making any commitments. These decisions affect not just our crew, but our entire species." Kex then laughed with genuine amusement. "Your primitive command structure requires approval from distant leaders? Most advanced species grant full authority to their diplomatic representatives. This delay suggests internal weakness and poor organization." Other alien representatives murmured agreement with the Centauri assessment. Species that could not make quick decisions usually fell victim to those who could act decisively. The humans appeared to be another example of this common pattern. Hishara calculated probabilities based on Morrison's response. The standard treaty for junior members provides adequate protection and development opportunities. Delay serves no logical purpose when the benefits are clearly demonstrated. The Vorthic leader activated another display showing timeline projections. Extended negotiations typically resulted in worse terms for applicant species as political situations changed. Quick acceptance of current offers represented the optimal strategy for human survival. Morrison remained standing as pressure mounted from all sides. "Nevertheless, we require consultation time. Earth's leadership will want detailed reports about galactic civilization before making such important decisions." The response triggered frustrated reactions throughout the chamber. Several military representatives began discussing the human position in their own languages. Economic delegations calculated lost profits from delayed resource extraction. Political groups debated whether humanity was being deliberately obstructive. Collins noticed that private communications between alien delegations increased dramatically after Morrison's statement. The species who had been competing for human resources were now beginning to cooperate against potential human resistance. This shift represented a dangerous development for Earth's future. Wright detected energy spikes in the chamber's defensive systems as tensions rose. The aliens were preparing for the possibility that negotiations might break down completely. Her instruments also showed increased scanning activity focused on the human delegation as security services gathered more detailed intelligence. Martinez intercepted planning discussions between military leaders from different species. The Centauri were calculating fleet movements to human space if diplomatic pressure failed. The Vorthic were designing contingency plans for forced compliance scenarios. Other groups discussed more subtle approaches involving economic warfare and political isolation. That an elderly representative from the free colonies finally spoke up from a lower tier. Perhaps humanity would benefit from private discussions with species who joined the galactic community more recently. Not all of us achieved immediate success through hasty decisions. The suggestion drew angry responses from the major powers, who preferred to control all aspects of the negotiation process. Kexthen's hand moved toward his weapon, while Hishara's computers calculated threat levels from this unexpected interference. Morrison nodded gratefully toward the Free Colony's representative. We would welcome additional perspectives on galactic membership. Understanding the experiences of other species could help inform our decision. The diplomatic session continued for several more hours as various delegations presented their positions. Morrison and his team listened carefully while gathering information about galactic politics and hidden agendas. Each alien presentation revealed more about their true intentions toward humanity. As the formal ceremony concluded, Collins received the standard junior member treaty documents. The terms were exactly as predicted, with severe limitations on military development and territorial expansion. Earth would essentially become a protectorate under alien supervision with minimal rights and maximum obligations. The human delegation was escorted to their assigned quarters in a section reserved for visiting diplomats. The rooms were comfortable but clearly monitored by multiple surveillance systems. Wright began detailed scans while Martinez set up secure communication equipment for contact with Earth. Morrison reviewed the treaty documents while his team worked. The aliens expected quick acceptance based on their assumptions about human capabilities and needs. They had no idea that Earth's leadership had been preparing for this. Admiral Kexthen arrived at the human quarters early the next morning, wearing his battle armor. The metal plates bore scars from dozens of conflicts, while energy weapons hung from his belt. His 3 escort officers carried heavy plasma rifles and wore expressions of barely contained violence. The Zentari had come to make their intentions clear. Morrison answered the door himself, while his crew prepared for another day of diplomatic meetings. The captain wore a simple uniform without visible weapons or armor. Behind him, Collins organized translation equipment, while Wright calibrated her scientific instruments. The contrast between human and Zentari preparations was deliberate and obvious. "Captain Morrison, we have a proposal that will benefit both our species," Kexthen announced. "The Zentari Empire invites humanity to participate in a traditional strength demonstration. 3 of our heavy cruisers will engage your vessel in mock combat within the Keller asteroid field." The Admiral activated a portable display showing the proposed battleground. Thousands of asteroids floated in a dense cluster 20 minutes from Nexus Station. The area was commonly used for military exercises and weapons testing. Spectator platforms allowed safe observation from multiple angles. Morrison studied the holographic display while considering the implications. Mock combat between military vessels was indeed a galactic tradition for new species. The results usually determined negotiating positions and treaty terms. Winners gained respect and better conditions, while losers accepted whatever they were offered. "This sounds like an interesting opportunity," Morrison replied. "However, we should clarify the rules and objectives before proceeding. What determines victory in such exercises?" Kexthen smiled, revealing rows of sharp teeth designed for tearing flesh. "Simple rules, Captain. The engagement continues until one side surrenders or becomes unable to fight. Our weapons will be set to training levels, but the tactical challenge remains real." The Zentari Admiral expected immediate human refusal based on obvious power differences. 3 heavy cruisers against 1 small diplomatic vessel represented impossible odds by any reasonable calculation. A wise species would decline gracefully and accept junior member status without further testing. Collins translated the proposal into official diplomatic language while calculating political consequences. Refusal would confirm alien assumptions about human weakness, but participation seemed like suicide. The Phoenix carried 47 crew members, while the Zentari ships held over 3,000 trained warriors. Wright analyzed the technical specifications that Kexthen provided about his vessels. Each heavy cruiser measured 800 meters in length, with multiple plasma cannon batteries. Their shields could absorb massive energy impacts, while their armor resisted kinetic weapons. The ships were built for conquest and intimidation. Martinez intercepted communications between Zentari officers as they prepared for the exercise. Their private discussions revealed complete confidence in easy victory. Some officers were already planning celebration ceremonies, while others debated how much damage to inflict for maximum psychological impact. Morrison appeared to consider the proposal carefully before responding. "We accept your invitation, Admiral. When would you prefer to conduct this exercise?" The unexpected acceptance caused surprised reactions among the Zentari delegation. Kexthan had expected negotiation or delay tactics from a species facing such overwhelming odds. Human willingness to proceed suggested either courage or stupidity. "Excellent, Captain," Kexthan replied. "We can begin in 4 hours, one spectator. Platforms are positioned and safety protocols activated. The galaxy will witness humanity's first real test among the stars." News of the upcoming combat exercise spread rapidly throughout Nexus Station. Representatives from dozens of species requested observation positions to witness the confrontation. Most expected a brief demonstration of Zentari superiority, followed by human surrender. The Vorthic collective used the delay to conduct detailed analysis of both sides. Hishara's computers calculated victory probabilities based on known vessel specifications and crew capabilities. Every simulation predicted human defeat within minutes of engagement beginning. Ethereal representatives emerged from their isolation to observe the proceedings. Ancient beings who had witnessed countless species join the galactic community were curious about human behavior. Most new civilizations avoided direct military confrontation until they understood galactic power structures. Morrison and his crew returned to the Phoenix to prepare for the coming battle. Pete Davis ran diagnostic checks on all ship systems, while the others reviewed tactical plans developed during their long journey from Earth. Everything had to appear normal to alien observers. Wright activated scanning systems that alien sensors could not detect while the ship moved toward the asteroid field. Her instruments mapped gravitational fields and energy patterns throughout the combat zone. The data would prove crucial when the fighting began. Martinez established secure communication links with hidden observation posts scattered throughout the star system. Human intelligence had been monitoring galactic military exercises for decades while preparing for eventual contact. The Phoenix would not fight alone despite appearances. The asteroid field contained rocks, ranging from small boulders to mountain-sized fragments left over from ancient planetary destruction. Dense clusters provided hiding places while open areas allowed maneuvering room. The environment favored smaller vessels that could navigate tight spaces. Spectator platforms positioned themselves at safe distances while broadcasting the exercise to audiences across the galaxy. Military analysts from every major power observed human tactics and capabilities. The results would influence diplomatic relations for years to come. Kexthan's 3 heavy cruisers entered formation near the field's edge with weapons powered, set to training levels. Each vessel could destroy the Phoenix with a single full power shot, but the exercise required more subtle demonstration of superiority. Public humiliation serves Zentari interests better than quick destruction. Phoenix approached the combat zone alone with minimal escort protection. Morrison stood on the bridge wearing standard uniform, while his crew took positions at their stations. To outside observers they appeared nervous, but determined to represent their species with honor. Executive Officer Mike Thompson coordinated defensive systems, while Weapons Officer Rachel Turner prepared humanity's response to Zentari aggression. Both officers had trained for this moment during years of simulation exercises based on captured alien technology and combat recordings. Zentari vessels, you may begin when ready. Morrison announced over open communication channels. "We are prepared for your demonstration." Kexthan laughed as his ships moved into attack formation. The human captain's formal politeness would soon give way to desperate pleas for mercy. "Very well, Captain. Try to provide entertaining resistance for our audience." The first Centauri cruiser opened fire with plasma cannons aimed at the Phoenixes. Engine section. The bright energy beams crossed space at light speed, while targeting systems calculated impact probabilities. Direct hits would disable human propulsion and end the fight. Immediately, Morrison watched the incoming fire with calm satisfaction as his ship's true capabilities revealed themselves. The Phoenix didn't dodge or flee as expected, but instead activated gravitational manipulation systems that bent space around the vessel. Plasma beams curved away harmlessly, while the human ship accelerated toward its attackers. Wright monitored energy readings as alien sensors struggled to understand what they were detecting. The Phoenix's defensive systems operated on principles that galactic science had never discovered. Gravity itself became a weapon and shield. Under human control, Turner activated the first of humanity's hidden weapons as the ship closed range with the lead Centauri cruiser. What appeared to be primitive projectile cannons revealed their true nature as relativistic kinetic accelerators. Solid metal slugs left the Phoenix at significant fractions of light speed. The Centauri vessel's shields were designed to absorb energy weapons and deflect slower projectiles. They provided no protection against solid matter moving at relativistic velocities. The first kinetic round punched through shield generators like they didn't exist, while the second disabled primary weapon systems. Kexthan stared at his tactical displays in disbelief as damage reports flooded his command center. The human vessel had somehow penetrated defenses that could stop concentrated plasma bombardment. His crew struggled to understand how primitive projectile weapons could cause such devastation. "All ships focus fire on the human vessel," Kexthan ordered. "Maximum training power and continuous bombardment." The remaining two cruisers opened fire together, while the damaged ship attempted to withdraw for repairs. Dozens of plasma beams converged on the Phoenix from multiple angles. The combined firepower could melt asteroids and cripple. Capital ships. Thompson adjusted gravitational fields around the Phoenix as space itself twisted under human control. Energy beams curved in impossible directions, while some reversed course completely to strike their sources. The Centauri found themselves under attack by their own weapons. Turner launched a spread of kinetic rounds that demonstrated human engineering superiority. Each projectile followed a different trajectory, while onboard guidance systems edge. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened 6 hours after the combat exercise ended. Representatives from every major power demanded explanations for the Phoenix's impossible victory over 3 Centauri heavy cruisers. Admiral Kexthan sat with his arm in a medical brace while his surviving officers displayed visible injuries from their encounter with human weapons. Morrison entered the council chambers to find a very different atmosphere than during his first visit. The casual arrogance had been replaced by nervous tension as alien delegates whispered among themselves. The humans were no longer seen as primitive supplicants, but as potential threats to established galactic order. Hishara led the Vorthic response with cold mathematical precision. "Captain Morrison, our analysis of the combat exercise reveals technology that contradicts established scientific principles. Your vessel demonstrated capabilities that should be impossible given its apparent construction and power systems." The Vorthic leader activated holographic displays showing detailed sensor readings from the recent battle. Energy signatures defied their understanding, while weapon performance exceeded theoretical maximums. Their computers struggled to process data that challenged fundamental assumptions about physics and engineering. Morrison remained standing as questions and accusations came from all directions. Species that had ignored humanity 24 hours earlier now demanded detailed explanations about Earth's military capabilities. The captain listened patiently while his crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. Dr. Wright monitored alien communication networks as panic spread throughout the galaxy. Military commands were recalculating threat assessments while intelligence services demanded more information about human technology. Some species began moving fleets to defensive positions around their home systems. Tony Martinez intercepted encrypted transmissions between galactic leaders as they debated appropriate responses to the human revelation. The Centauri wanted immediate military action before humanity could deploy more advanced vessels. The Vorthic preferred diplomatic solutions that would give them access to human technology. Collins translated the various demands and questions while noting the shift in alien behavior. Species that had offered protection now sought reassurance about their own security. Those who had planned to exploit human resources were reconsidering their aggressive policies. An ethereal representative finally spoke from the upper tier with ancient authority. The young species demonstrates capabilities that suggest advanced development hidden from galactic observation. This pattern has occurred before in our long memory with varying results for all involved. The ancient being activated displays showing historical examples of species that had surprised the galaxy with hidden strength. Some had integrated peacefully into galactic civilization, while others had triggered devastating wars. The implications were clear and threatening. Morrison decided the time had come to reveal humanity's true position in galactic affairs. Honored representatives, we appreciate your interest in human capabilities. Perhaps it would be helpful to demonstrate the full extent of our preparations for joining galactic civilization. The statement triggered alarmed reactions throughout the chamber as aliens realized they might have seriously underestimated human development. Military representatives began calculating worst-case scenarios, while diplomatic teams prepared contingency plans for various crisis situations. Earth Command has authorized a demonstration of our defensive capabilities, Morrison continued. We invite galactic observers to witness a routine fleet exercise at the edge of our solar system. This should answer questions about human military readiness. The proposal sent shockwaves through the assembly as delegates realized the implications. If the Phoenix represented standard human technology, then Earth might possess military forces capable of challenging galactic powers. The single-ship scenario suddenly seemed much more ominous. Kexton struggled to his feet despite his injuries. Captain Morrison, are you suggesting that your species possesses additional vessels with capabilities similar to the Phoenix? Our intelligence reports indicated minimal human industrial capacity and limited technological development. Morrison smiled at the Centauri admiral's obvious distress. Intelligence reports can be misleading, Admiral. Humanity has spent considerable time and effort preparing for our eventual contact with galactic civilization. We wanted to ensure adequate defensive capabilities before announcing our presence. The captain activated his communication system and requested connection with Earth Command through quantum entanglement links. The response came immediately, despite the vast distance involved, while alien observers watched with growing alarm. Earth Command, this is Phoenix requesting permission to conduct fleet exercise demonstration for galactic representatives, Morrison announced. We have interested observers who would like to evaluate human military preparedness. The reply carried across space instantaneously through technology that most alien species had never encountered. Permission granted, Captain Morrison. Admiral, Parker sends his regards and looks forward to meeting our new galactic neighbors. Wright activated her scanning systems as the Phoenix began its journey toward the edge of human space. Her instruments detected dozens of alien vessels, following at maximum sensor range while trying to remain undetected. Every major power wanted first-hand intelligence about human military capabilities. The journey to the demonstration Area took 18 hours, during which galactic communication networks buzzed with speculation and concern. Military analysts studied every detail of the Phoenix's performance, while intelligence services attempted to penetrate human information security. Martinez monitored alien transmissions as fear spread throughout established power structures. Some species began preparing for potential conflict, while others sought alliance opportunities with the emerging human threat. The galaxy's political balance was shifting rapidly. Navigation Officer Chris Bell plotted coordinates for the designated exercise area near Pluto's orbit. The location had been chosen carefully to provide maximum psychological impact when human. Fleet capabilities were revealed. Ancient ice and rock would witness the birth of a new galactic power dot as they approached the outer solar system. Right detected energy signatures that made her smile with satisfaction. Hidden among asteroids and ice fragments were the shapes that would reshape galactic politics forever. Humanity's true strength was about to become visible to alien eyes. The Phoenix reached the demonstration coordinates and activated its long-range sensors for the benefit of watching alien observers. The display screens showed empty space with scattered debris and a few small asteroids. Nothing appeared threatening or militarily significant. Morrison opened communication channels to address the alien vessels, maintaining observation distances. Galactic representatives, we thank you for your interest in human defensive preparations. The demonstration will begin momentarily. Bavis powered up systems that had remained hidden during their journey to Nexus Station. The Phoenix's true sensor capabilities revealed themselves as space around them filled with energy signatures that defied alien understanding. What had appeared empty now teemed with hidden activity. One by one, human vessels emerged from stealth positions throughout the outer solar system. Massive dreadnoughts dwarfed anything in galactic fleets, while sleek destroyers demonstrated technology decades ahead of alien science. Carriers launched fighter squadrons that moved with inhuman precision. The alien observers watched in growing horror as hundreds of human warships revealed themselves in perfect formation. Each vessel carried weapons that made the Phoenix's demonstration seem modest by comparison. The fleet represented military power that could challenge the entire galactic establishment. Wright monitored alien communication networks as panic spread through watching fleets. Emergency transmissions flooded subspace channels, while military commanders demanded immediate withdrawal to defensive positions. The galaxy had just discovered that humanity possessed overwhelming force projection capabilities. Admiral Parker's flagship appeared on the Phoenix's main screen as quantum communication established contact with Fleet Command. The veteran officer wore dress uniform, decorated with medals from conflicts that galactic intelligence had never detected. Captain Morrison, welcome to Exercise Starfall, Parker announced. We're pleased to have galactic observers for this routine demonstration of human fleet readiness. I trust our guests will find the display educational. The demonstration began with coordinated maneuvers that showcased human tactical doctrine and technological superiority. Vessels moved in formations that alien military science considered impossible, while weapons tests produced energy signatures that redefined the limits of destructive capability. Morrison addressed the alien observers as the exercise continued. Honored representatives, humanity has used our isolation productively during the past century. While the galaxy engaged in political disputes, we focused on advancement and preparation for eventual contact. The captain paused to let the implications sink in before continuing. The Phoenix was not sent to beg for membership in galactic civilization. We came to evaluate the current situation and determine how best to contribute to galactic peace and prosperity. Collins monitored alien reactio. The Phoenix returned to Nexus Station to find a transformed political landscape waiting for them. Emergency fleets from dozens of species surrounded the diplomatic hub, while hasty alliance negotiations filled every communication channel. Galaxy was preparing for a new reality where humanity held the balance of power. Morrison docked at the same bay they had left 3 days earlier. But now security protocols had changed dramatically. Instead of casual monitoring, the station had activated full military alert status. Energy shields protected critical areas, while weapon systems tracked every approaching vessel. Admiral Kexthin waited at the airlock wearing full battle armor, despite his recent injuries. Behind him stood representatives from every major galactic power, along with dozens of smaller species seeking protection or alliance opportunities. The human captain's return had become the most important diplomatic event in centuries. Captain Morrison, the Galactic Council, requests immediate consultation regarding humanity's intentions toward existing political structures, Kexthin announced. Your fleet demonstration has created significant concern about regional stability and security arrangements. Morrison smiled as he stepped off his ship, followed by Collinswright and Martinez. The crew wore simple uniforms without visible weapons, but their confidence had changed dramatically since their first arrival. They no longer appeared as humble supplicants seeking acceptance. Admiral, we appreciate the Council's interest in discussing humanity's role in galactic affairs, Morrison replied. Earth Command has prepared comprehensive proposals for restructuring interstellar relations based on principles of justice and mutual respect. The response triggered nervous reactions among alien representatives who had expected demands for tribute or territorial concessions. Species with overwhelming military superiority typically imposed harsh terms on weaker civilizations. Humanity's measured approach suggested more complex motivations. The emergency council session convened immediately, with security measures that reflected new threat assessments. Hidden weapon systems remained active, while personal shields protected key representatives from potential assassination attempts. Trust had evaporated in the face of human military revelations. Hijara led the Vorthek response with calculated precision despite obvious stress indicators. Captain Morrison, our analysis suggests human fleet capabilities exceed the combined military strength of all current galactic powers. This situation requires careful negotiation to prevent catastrophic conflict. The Vorthek leader activated displays showing updated threat calculations based on the recent fleet demonstration. Human technology represented evolutionary leaps beyond current galactic science, while their industrial capacity suggested unlimited expansion potential. Traditional diplomatic approaches were inadequate for such circumstances. Morrison took his position at the central table, while alien representatives maintained careful distances. The arrangement reflected new power dynamics, where humanity could dictate terms rather than accepting whatever was offered. The transformation was complete and irreversible. Honored representatives, Earth comes to these negotiations with specific objectives based on our observations of galactic civilization, Morrison began. We have monitored interstellar affairs for over a century while preparing for eventual contact. The captain activated holographic displays that shocked the alien assembly with their detailed intelligence about galactic politics. Human surveillance had penetrated every major power while documenting crimes against smaller species and evidence of systematic exploitation. Lieutenant Commander Steve Parker appeared on the communication screen representing Earth's intelligence services. His presentation revealed the depth of human knowledge about galactic affairs, including military capabilities, technological weaknesses, and political corruption. For 123 years, humanity has watched as powerful species preyed upon weaker civilizations. Parker announced, "We have documented slavery operations, resource theft, and genocidal policies implemented by those claiming to represent galactic civilization." The intelligence officer presented evidence of Zentari concentration camps where subject species were worked to death in mining operations. Vorthik experiments on sentient beings violated every principle of medical ethics, while ethereal manipulation had destroyed dozens of developing cultures. Wright monitored alien reactions as the evidence mounted against established galactic powers. Several smaller species began showing support for human positions, while military representatives calculated the cost of resistance to Earth's demands. Martinez intercepted frantic communications between alien leaders as they realized the implications of human intelligence capabilities. Their secret activities had been observed and recorded while their military plans were known in advance. Privacy and security had become meaningless concepts. Morrison continued his presentation with humanity's terms for joining galactic civilization. Earth proposes the immediate abolition of slavery throughout all member territories with enforcement mechanisms to ensure compliance. Species guilty of genocide or systematic oppression will face trial and punishment. The demand sent shockwaves through the assembly as representatives realized that humanity intended to judge existing power structures rather than join them. The traditional system of might makes right was being challenged by a species with the strength to enforce moral standards. Furthermore, all member species will contribute to reparations funds for victims of past exploitation, Morrison added. Territorial boundaries will be redrawn to provide adequate living space for displaced populations, while natural resources will be managed through collective agreements. Collins translated the terms into major galactic languages while noting the growing desperation among alien delegates. Many species faced potential extinction if their crimes were fully punished, while others saw opportunities for justice after centuries of oppression. Kexthan attempted to protest the human demands despite his weakened position. Captain Morrison. These proposals would destroy the established order that has maintained galactic stability for millennia. Some traditions deserve preservation regardless of current power dynamics. Morrison's response carried the weight of overwhelming military superiority behind diplomatic courtesy. Admiral, the current order has brought stability only to those strong enough to exploit their neighbors. Humanity offers a different model based on equality and mutual respect. The captain activated another display showing human proposals for galactic government restructuring. Democratic representation would replace hereditary rule, while economic systems would ensure fair distribution of resources. Military forces would serve defensive rather than conquest purposes. An ethereal representative emerged from millennia of silence to address the transformed situation. Young species, your proposals challenge fundamental principles that have governed galactic civilization since before your sun formed. Change on such scales carries risks that immortal beings understand better than mortals. Morrison nodded respectfully toward the ancient entity while maintaining his position. Honored elder humanity recognizes the wisdom that comes with age and experience. However, we have observed that immortal perspectives sometimes lose touch with the suffering of finite beings. The response revealed another aspect of human preparation for galactic contact. Earth's representatives had studied not just military capabilities, but also philosophical and psychological weaknesses of various species. They were prepared for every form of resistance or manipulation. Sarah Johnson appeared on the communication screen representing Earth's diplomatic corps. Her presentation outlined specific implementation timelines for humanity's proposed reforms, along with consequences for non-compliance. The message was clear and non-negotiable. Species that embrace the new order will receive technology transfers and economic assistance, Johnson announced. Those who resist will face isolation and potential military action to protect their victims from continued exploitation. The ultimatum forced alien representatives to confront their limited options in the face of human power. Cooperation offered survival and potential prosperity, while resistance meant certain defeat against overwhelming force. The choice was simple. Despite its devastating implications, smaller species began announcing their support for human proposals as representatives realized this might be their only chance for freedom. from centuries of oppression. The merchant guilds saw opportunities for fair trade relationships, while the free colonies embraced protection from aggressive empires. Wright detected energy spikes throughout Nexus Station as various military forces prepared for potential conflict. Some species were considering desperate attacks on human representatives, while others planned immediate withdrawal to defensive positions. The galaxy balanced on the edge of war or transformation. Morrison stood to address the assembly one final time as the session approached its conclusion. Honored representatives, humanity did not seek galactic dominance, but found ourselves forced to act by the suffering we observed. We offer partnership to those who embrace justice and freedom. The captain paused to ensure his words carried maximum impact before delivering humanity's final message. However, make no mistake about our resolve. The galaxy will change whether through cooperation or force. The age of Expel